All right, this is Tim Rogers with Dodgers 2080, and this is our second podcast as the group together with Alex and Trinidad. Today we're gonna cover various topics. We're gonna talk about some roster moves. We're gonna talk about the payroll. We're gonna talk about all the free agents that have been linked to the Dodgers, and we might have an open session at the end like we did last time, where we just bring up subjects that we want to talk about. So the first one is roster moves, and one of the big ones that did happen was the Dodgers not they basically bought out Justin Turner's contract for $2 million, avoiding the $16 million. Let's go, Alex. What are your thoughts on him? Isn't he one of your favorites, or no? Is that Trinidad? One of you guys love that guy.
That was me right there.
Yeah, we'll go Alex first, and we'll let Trinidad cry.
I mean, I think it was kind of I think it was expected. I think he was at the player option was he would have re-signed at 16 million, I think, around that. So I think it was probably expected that they would either cancel or decline it and try to renegotiate. The thing is that I don't know. You have to also consider playing time. Can Michael Busch play third base? I mean, is that an option as well?
No.
So I think we talked. We would like him to come back. Maybe spot start at third base, fill in for Miguel Vargas when he needs an off day, or provide maybe DH at bats. But who knows? I mean, Andrew Friedman kind of just surprised everyone every offseason, so who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
Great clubhouse guy though, so I mean, there's nothing wrong with him coming back, but just kind of how he fits within the roster now and what price, or if somebody else offers him a contract, to be honest.
Yeah. Trinidad, what are your thoughts, my man?
Yeah, it kind of hurt though. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. Just a little bit though. I mean, we obviously knew that it was going to be expected, knowing the fact that, I mean, JT's already getting up there in age for sure. So that was going to be one of the biggest factors. But but I mean, we have Miguel Vargas who can play third base. Obviously, they had Max Muncy play a lot of third base this year, but I still don't. I mean, I should speak for everybody. I mean, we all don't see Max Muncy playing third base for so long. I mean, we see him most as first and second base, but hopefully they do bring him back. I have heard his interviews with David Bassett, where he says that he's had talks with the Dodgers. So who knows if they're in talks after they're trying. I guess he said that they're in talks of trying to bring down the luxury tax, which is pretty much where they don't want to pay the taxes right now. So, I mean, if they could get him on a cheaper deal, that'd be awesome, because, I mean, we all love JT, the way he is in the clubhouse. Everybody loves him. So, I mean, hopefully they bring him back for that. I mean, it is true what how Alex said is the playing time as well, too. Are you going to be risking a 38-year-old guy playing third base the whole season, 162 games?
Yeah, and just and we'll talk about this later in the topics. They talk about the luxury tax, and the luxury tax threshold's $233 million this year. So they need to do some things that call resetting and all. And like I said, we'll talk about that more.
Start resetting it.
But yeah, just a quick thought for me on JT. My biggest concern about him is him taking too much playing time, and them not giving Vargas and others a chance. I just look at the team, and talking with Casey Porter yesterday, with Dodgers Daily, and we got these young guys, but they're not getting a chance. You go.
That is true.
And we talked about Vargas, right? Last time, he gets 41 at bats in September.
Right.
They had nothing to play for, and they had guys injured, so they were trying to force feed everyone else through. And then Miggy doesn't even play in the playoffs, and he's actually one of the healthy guys versus Dave Roberts and his boys, his guys. It's like I like Kenley, right? I love Kenley Jansen, but I was glad when he was gone, because it just took a weapon away from Doc that he's not going to overuse And so I kind of look at JT and even the next guy that we'll talk about, Cody Bellinger. So his arbitration figure, they were saying, was around 18 million. It was basically anywhere from the 16s and above, because they're allowed to do 20% less than he had last season. So as of this moment, Cody Bellinger, just like Justin Turner, is not a Dodger. Very
Right.
weird. Trinidad, what are your thoughts on Cody right now?
For sure, we weren't going to pay him what he was going to be expecting. That's for sure. I mean, what was it? 18 million was they were going to give him pretty much originally, but
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't going to happen. I mean, I understand that from his standpoint, he sees that kind of money. Obviously, his defense, which is like pure platinum defense for sure, but his batting is not there. And like we talked about in the last podcast, 3 years is probably more than enough time where you should have a batting average or you should get it together pretty much in a way. I mean, you can say all you want, but I've read articles too where he's not even listening to hitting coaches. Like it's all on him pretty much, and he just looks lost at the plate. Either he's pretty much either in his head or is it something else. But I just think that it was probably a good idea for non-tendering him in a way. That way he sees that we're not gonna just give him what he wants.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. 3 years ago, Cody could have had 10 years, 300 million.
Yeah.
And
But we would have
thankfully,
probably
he didn't.
suffered.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Alex, thoughts, man?
I think, I mean, I feel like some people think that maybe he comes back, but I think the writing's on the wall. I think Andrew Freeman was just quoted as saying that I don't think it's gonna be another off season where he needs to type conditioning because he said that they did that this past off season, and that the expectation this year was for him to improve, and he had an extremely subpar season again, and so he was just recently quoted saying that it's going to be the same thing where you think an off season is going to help. The expectation in 2002 is the same as 2003, where they expect him to do better, but it's going to have to come at like a severe cost reduction, I think.
Yeah.
And the batted ball profile is just everything's down. The max exit velocity, it's down. His chase rate is I think his hard contact on fastballs is very low. So he's not trending in the right way. It just seems that even with the defense, even with his stellar defense, he netted what 1.2 WAR.
Yeah.
That's just not enough.
I think
that's
James
with
Outman
platinum
can do
defense.
that. James Outman can do that. Easy.
Huh?
James Outman. Oh wait.
Right. And
yeah,
that's with league average what's it called? At minimum like batting average or batting profile. So
there was some streamer projections on Outman that he would hit maybe around it was a little over 110 expected what is it? Gosh darn it.
OPS plus?
OPS plus, yeah. Sorry. Folks, I'm sick. So my brain's even worse than normal. So yeah, so there were some projections on that. And that doesn't mean that much.
Right.
But
but one that's better than 90, 80 what we're getting now from Cody. So
yeah.
With plus defense at center field.
Yeah.
For Outman. So
yep. I mean, it's probably still not Cody. He is elite defensively. I don't want to ever take that away.
Right.
Somehow the Dodgers can get him back. I would like it, but at the same time, I don't want them to just go, "Hey, Cody, center field's yours." He's got to earn that position.
Yeah. And it has to be then the money has to. I mean, it's like maybe at 6 years or 6 million a year makes sense. But do I see him taking that?
Nah.
Is a team like Danger's going to offer him like 1 year 15?
Cubs
Probably,
or
right?
Or Blue Jays or Yankees. Yeah.
Right.
Any further thoughts on Mr. Belly?
I mean, it's just the teams I'm shocked that are trying to pick him up.
Huh? Say again?
It's mostly the teams that are trying to pick him up, like the Blue Jays, the Cubs, which I'm really shocked about those teams trying to pick him up. But then again, those are hitter-friendly ballparks too. Well, I mean, Rogers, where is it? Toronto?
Mm-hmm.
Which he can probably revive his swing for sure.
If he can make contact, right? I mean,
that is true.
Still, the end of the day, where's that darn contact?
He's willing to adjust.
Yeah. So the next one is I was just landing in Houston on Tuesday, and I had just turned my airplane mode off, and the first thing that comes across my my phone is that Tyler Anderson signs with the frickin' California Angels.
Yeah.
I was not happy. My gosh, 339. It's like, okay, well, he's going to be 33, 34, 35 for those, but at 13 million, oh man. I think the reason I hate it is he's actually a healthy pitcher. unlike
Right.
most of every other pitcher we got. And just as an FYI, and I think some of y'all have seen it, but I did a podcast with Casey Porter yesterday on what is it called? Dodgers Prospects Podcast, talking about the pitching, and we talked about the health. My gosh. So, Alex, what are your thoughts on losing Tyler Anderson?
I mean, it sucks. I mean, he pitched great for us in 2022. We get we do get a draft pick from him. But
Good point.
I think it's expected, to be honest. I think I mentioned this last. There's no room. I mean, if we sign him, then we have all 5 of our spots taken. So
Yeah.
all the prospects in AAA, I don't know where they're gonna play. That's not including if we sign another, high end starting pitcher. I think it was a roster crunch. I mean, I hate to lose him, obviously. It's just funny. I feel like Andrew Freeman gets another guy like that, but I mean, it sucks. He was a great pitcher, good clubhouse. He was strong down the stretch. He didn't tire out, so
Yeah.
it just
He was
sucks.
nails in game 4.
The business, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yep. Trinidad.
Well, I was shocked about that one because as soon as he literally declined the qualifying offer, he signed with the Angels. So I'm assuming he probably already had talks with them right when he had gotten the qualifying offer. But I mean, like you guys said, he was a great pitcher for us. He always pitched, and I think he was always getting past the 5th inning. I believe this year for the most of his now this year, pitched the most innings this season. Yeah, he never tired out during the end of the year. So I mean, game 4 he was dealing, but then obviously we had that issue where we went to the bullpen. But yeah, I know. I mean, like we said, we get a draft pick out of him now. So and Dodgers like to get those draft picks and get great prospects out of that draft. So hopefully we get something good out of him. This upcoming year.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I definitely want to. I look at it this way. It's like I want the healthy guys, and the guys that are not healthy. We already know Kershaw he's going to throw 120 innings, right?
15 starts.
Yep. I think May's going to be better. Julio, we know
Stud.
He's stud is the word.
It's gonna be the ace.
What does Doug McCain call him? Urias?
The Urias.
Yeah. And then Gonsolin, he hasn't had
I think it's a question mark also. And Gonsolin, he had forearm tightness. That's not
I know.
For a pitcher, that's not something you just it's not like a sore hammy or something,
Yeah, Dr. Neil Alatrash, or whatever his name is lurking in the background.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of same thing as Buehler, right? He had some forearm tightness, or it grabbed at him, and
it became worse.
It's a matter of time, I think. So I've talked to some people in the past about the forkball or the split finger, whatever you want to call it. If you don't throw that sucker right, you're getting Tommy John. I talked to you guys.
Most definitely.
St. Louis. That was at a 2013 playoff game, Dodgers and Cardinals, game 1 where they blew it. And talking to a fan out there, and he was a pitcher that he threw the split and had Tommy John surgery. I talked to Dave Stewart about it. Dave used to be the coach of my son in travel ball, and talking about just he says, man, you got to throw it right. You have to throw it right. Yeah, it's a high stress on on I don't know what, because you're opening those fingers, right? Yeah, you're opening.
You open your
tendons. You got to stretch it out, yeah.
And then aren't you also? Is there any snap in it? I never threw.
It mostly rolls off. It rolls off your fingers, but I mean the way it is I guess the way the ball is pushed into your fingers. Yeah, that's the stress that you get into your forearm. So you get basically all this right here. So if you're not throwing it right and you get like a nice little twist or whatever, it's all stress going towards your elbow.
And over 1,000 pitches a season throwing that, it's like it adds up,
Yeah.
But we'll see. Hopefully it's just a soreness. Hopefully it's nothing long term, but just never know, to be honest.
I'm trying to think of a guy that threw the splitter other than Dave Stewart.
Steve Finley.
Or Chuck Finley.
I'm sorry, Chuck Finley, and then almost got it.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, just there's not a lot of guys.
Hitchcock, there's not that many players, so it's kind of that pitch is kind of like not in the game anymore. It used to be more prevalent, but
Yeah,
It's almost similar to the screwball. It's almost
Right.
similar to that screwball.
Yeah.
Literally more stress onto your elbow.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when, Fernando came up and he was throwing the scroogey, and they're saying, and I don't know if this is true, that Fernando's double jointed, and that's what helps him, because you're throwing the freaking screwball, you're coming off.
it doesn't make sense on your arm.
Yeah.
It
just
doesn't.
doesn't
I
make
mean, that
sense.
just feels so unnatural to do. Fans
Yeah.
just put your fingers like this and then twist like that
Opposite,
the other
yeah.
way. Yeah, it's not like more of a slider or anything like that or a curve. It's this.
Yeah.
It's just,
I don't even like
feel
you
it.
practice it. It's like it feels
Oh,
like it's gonna break.
I could hit 20 miles an hour with it, maybe. Back in
Right.
the day. I mean, it's just so unnatural.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we got worries there with Tyler being gone in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And he
so,
was his arm is a young 32. He's only
right.
pitched what 6 and not completing or
Yeah.
seasons.
Yeah.
It's very fresh. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but
I mean, you still got to be skeptical about it. I mean, he is coming off a great year, but like, what's going to happen when he goes
Right.
into a dominant more league with the in the Angels in American League West? Actually, that's what I'm trying to say. You got the
Yeah.
Astros, you got the Mariners.
Oh,
So
yeah.
who knows how he's going to go?
And the
out there
Rangers
and pitch.
coming.
Yep.
Rangers are coming. They got Corey.
and yeah, Angels pitching, so pitching
Yeah,
coaches.
I
So
know.
we'll see.
Yeah, the pitching coaches. And then the other thing with that is he doesn't have the lab, the pitching lab with
Yeah.
Pryor, Dr. Pryor.
Right.
My I think maybe I shared this before. My next Tyler Anderson, Andrew Heaney is Sean Manaea.
You've been, yeah, I believe you.
I want that guy. At 1 year, $8 million. Someone was estimating his contract at 2 years, 24 for what, a 5 ERA? Are you high?
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, when we got Anderson last year, people were like, "What are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
season's over."
Yep.
Yeah, I
It was
know.
Anderson and Haney's like, "Season's over. What are we doing? We're just
Mhm.
throwing it away." And now we're upset because we didn't re-sign him for what 3,
Yeah.
4 years. So
I know.
I mean,
Have
they're both
faith.
coming off like
the lab
bad
continues.
years too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Anderson's ERA, I think, was like 4.5, and Heaney was booed out in New York, wasn't even on the playoff roster.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's been bad for like years though. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anaheim was a little.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see who's new in who's new for the Mark Pryor and Andrew Friedman who
Yeah.
we gonna sign. So
All right. So the Dodgers protected four new guys off the roster and brought them onto the 40-man. We had Diego Cartaya, of course.
duh.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we had Michael Busch, we had Andy Paez, and then one of the surprises that
Right.
some of us were and some of us weren't, Jonny Deluca. And
That was a shock.
yeah, a little bit. And
Yeah.
then the other shock for I think we talked about him was Jose Ramos,
Right.
not being protected.
Right.
So yeah. I mean, was there anyone else that you thought, oh my gosh, we're gonna lose this guy? I mean, I still got Ryan Noda. I think he's picked.
I think we lose him,
someone's
but
gonna take
like,
him.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
we lose him. Like, but there's no way we can. I mean, there's not just spots.
Yeah.
I think someone
But-
picks him up for sure.
Yeah, I think mostly those guys, but I mean, mostly Ramos, I believe, because he was a big talk about this year in the minor leagues, obviously. But as far as any other guy, I would think like no big name, no other name to me, my knowledge, obviously. But it's just the fact that Jonny got protected for sure. Now that one, I was like, we literally talked about him saying how nobody heard of him, and now he was getting better and better as he moved up in the minors.
Yeah. And the only worry that we talked about was Farhan.
Yep.
Farhan taking him and leaving him on the bench and taking a chance, but hopefully that doesn't happen.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I think it bodes well also for Deluca. I mean, if the Dodgers are willing to save a spot for him, he's only just played. He played what 25 games in AA.
Yeah.
I guess that speaks a lot for him, and maybe there's untapped potential that we're not seeing.
Yeah, I mean, he
True
started
that.
2021 at Rancho.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
That's low A.
Holy smoke. All right, so our next topic we're going to talk about is the payroll. It has been reduced greatly We touched on it briefly. For the Dodgers to reset their luxury tax, they have to get under 233 million for 2023, which helps them reset some penalties that they get with international losses, draft pick losses, things like that. And so, as what's his name, Stan Kasten talked about, economic under the covers stuff or whatever he said a few years ago that pissed everyone off. So I'm going to share my screen here so everyone can see this, hopefully. And can we see the screen?
Perfect.
Excellent. Yep. So you can see the Dodgers. We have players with guaranteed salaries. I look at the AAV. That's the one that matters to us for calculating the luxury tax. Right now, they do not have Kershaw's around 20 million. We're just going to assume 20 million for right now. And then they have, the players eligible for arbitration. This is just a guess. The big ones are Julio and Walker, Buehler. Bellinger's off here. I mean, he that was a big chunk of money, and then the 16 million that was here for JT was also significant money. So between, well, it's really not. Yeah, it's really 14. I think really would have factored in for JT because 2 million was already absorbed because that was guaranteed money in this first 2 years, and then 18 with Cody. So that was about 32 million. And so way down here, the luxury tax estimate, there's all sorts of stuff. Here's the guaranteed money, salary arbitration. At the end of the day, all these things that they factor in, they factor in costs and overhead and all sorts of different things, player benefits. It's all factored in.
With the salary? With the payroll?
Huh?
That's factored into the payroll?
Yeah, it factors into the luxury tax.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow. So right now they have it at 168 million. Add Kershaw, it's 188 million. So 233 minus 88. What's that? 45? Yeah.
Roughly, give or take.
Yeah.
Is there any way they can do any accounting things and give a signing bonus to lower the AV, or is that?
Well, one of the things they've done that before.
Right.
You can see with Mookie because they did a lot of deferrals with him.
Right.
And so really you look at his AAV, it's 25.5 million, even though, he's going to be making, even over these next few years, over 30 million, and even into 35. His AAV for all those years is 25.5. And then Freddie Freeman, same thing.
Right.
They did some deferrals. Taylor really doesn't have many deferrals. He had some bonus money up front.
Right.
So what they'll have to do to keep it lower on other guys, I'm going to bring up his name, even though some people get pissed off. Trevor Bauer.
I was just about to say his name.
Yeah, his contract was 34 million a year, even though for the first year it was supposed to be 40 million, and then 48 million, and then a $17 million buyout. So you add all that stuff in together, it was like 102. And
yeah,
so
103 million.
Yeah, something like that. And so it became 32 or 34 million a year. Was what the AAV of that contract was. So
gotcha.
In order to do things like that, now they can do stuff like that, one of the things I'd really like to see done is hook up Julio.
I think we all would, yeah, for sure.
But what you do with that is you let him do his arbitration thing here, then you feed it out here, 2024 to 2028 or whatever.
An extension.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, but it doesn't count. That first year doesn't count. The Rockies did that with Arenado back in 2019. Gotcha. We thought for sure he'd be a Dodger, but didn't quite work out. Bauer didn't count anything. He's on suspension. I don't expect him back. So free agents. They can do that. Like you said, they can do that. But let's talk about, so we got let's say 45 million to go. I think at a minimum, today, in my opinion, the starting shortstop is either Gavin Lux or Jake Amaya. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't mind it, actually. I'm actually kind of fired up about Amaya being my shortstop with the defense with Lux at second. But they really want to pay for one. even a guy like what's his name, Dansby Swanson,
Yeah.
he's going to be
Right.
20. He's 25 million a year. And so if you were to take, and I think he's kind of the worst case. He used to be kind of my top, but I've had enough conversations with Doug McCain about that stuff to go, hey, I think Doug got me on that one.
Yeah.
So you can negotiate the longer contract with deferrals and try
Right,
to get
right.
that thing down to 20.
For the first year or second year. Or
Yeah.
something.
But so some of the names we've heard, right? Carlos Correa, over 30 million a year. Easy.
Yeah, he's looking for that high AAV for sure.
Uh-huh. Now he can get a huge contract, in terms of with deferrals.
Right.
Boris has done that before. He did that with the Nationals. I don't know if you remember Scherzer's contract, the 7 years, 210 million. He had a lot of deferrals, and so it wasn't counting as 30 million. It was like 24, 25 million.
Right.
And he's going to get paid like Bobby Bonilla. He's going to be getting paid when he's 80 years old.
Right.
Right.
You still net the same total value, but
Yeah.
it's usually for players that I guess have been in the league longer that already have they already have a first payday.
Yeah.
They can do a deferral. Who knows? Maybe
Well,
add
and you
more
can
than
yeah.
10.
The other issue, though, I just thought of it. Inflation rate is really high, and that contract now it's going to be lower in value if you defer stuff. If you think about that,
Right.
If inflation's 8%, I mean, really, your value of your contract goes down.
This year would be down.
And probably another couple years. I mean,
Right. So inflation gets lower.
Yeah. So that might impact players looking at it, because you look at Corey's contract last year, which was what, 10 years, 325 or 330?
Yeah,
around that ballpark.
And the equivalent
325.
the equivalent the Dodgers would have had to give was 10 years, $401 million because of the cost of California.
Because the state tax, right?
Right.
Yep. So there's all those things to deal with. Now, I don't think guys like Boris take that much into account. They're looking at the big number. They're going, I want my guy to be the highest paid AAV. I want, and they're not looking
in the biggest market.
Yeah, and Borso is not looking at the salary cap one. He's looking just at the average.
Yeah. Well, it's not his problem, right?
Yeah, it's
he
not.
Care.
Yeah.
And he's also looking for the biggest contract.
I agree.
So, and then you got Judge, who I think, someone said, and I kind of agree with it. It was on MLB Network radio. If he signs with the Yankees for anything less than 8 years, $320 million, the Yankees ripped him off.
$40 million a year, basically.
Yeah, and I kind of don't disagree.
It's a huge season.
Yeah, and really, and the guy also said, if he goes anywhere else, he might not even touch 50 home runs per season. Yeah.
I was looking at that. I saw that for Dodger Stadium has a higher home run park factor than Yankee Stadium.
But for the way Judge hits them, though,
I don't know. He does spray it everywhere, though. It's not. He's not just a pull hitter.
Field.
Right. He does go. He hits all over the ballpark.
Everywhere. If you see just a lot of them, but he sprays it everywhere. So who knows?
Yeah.
I'm sure the power is not going to be an issue, whatever stadium he plays at.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But Ebbets Field to be hitting home runs dead center. So
if he hits 45, so what? If he's going up there and hitting 280 to 300
with high on base, I think he led the league in on base too. That's the thing.
Oh yeah.
So it's like he was one position away from with the Triple Crown, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Elite defense too. I don't know.
But yeah, so there's Judge. He's going to obviously cost a ton of money. And then someone like Verlander. He's looking for a Scherzer contract.
Yeah, he's only looking for 3 years.
Ooh.
And he's what, 41? 40?
I
Close.
think he's 40. Yeah,
he's at least 40 going in next season. I don't know if it's 40 or 41.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I look at that.
I don't see.
Yeah.
I don't see Andrew going 3 years.
I think I'd be really upset if he did that.
I don't think he'd do it.
What would DeGrom's be too as well?
Yeah,
that's going to be an issue right there.
I think DeGrom gets 3 years too because he's pitched I think 180 innings in the last 3 seasons. So
Total.
Right.
total,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a huge that might be a buy. It's not gonna be low, but for him, 30 million for DeGrom seems 2 years ago that'd have been what, a discount. I mean a Black Friday discount, but
Yeah. Well, he's
Yeah,
already walking
literally.
away from 32 million, 32.5, I think it is.
that'd be
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't think I think he's getting a lot more.
DeGrom?
He wouldn't walk away from 32.5 to take the same, I don't think.
I mean, that's only if your ego gets in the way and when you think you're going to get a bigger contract at that age he's at, which is what, 34, 35?
Yeah, he'll be 35 this year.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Man.
that's technically his ego already speaking for himself already. If he
That's
walks away
DeGrom?
from that money. Yeah, DeGrom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I used to go, oh, these guys make too much. I'm just like, get all you can, guys. Get all you can.
Yeah.
The owners are making a ton of money. They're making a ton of money off you. Go ahead and get all you can. And maybe
Right.
maybe he's not a huge fan of pitching in New York. They're talking about, he likes Texas. I think he's from Florida. He obviously is not going to go to the Marlins or the Rays.
Well, they say he's going to the Rangers. I mean, that's not.
Or the Braves.
We'll see.
Mhm.
But I don't know. The Braves, can they get a player like DeGrom? I mean, they couldn't get. Apparently, the contract was an issue for Freddie, right? That's why
Yeah,
they went
that's
younger and
weirdest
lower
thing.
average
the thing-
annual. So
Yeah. I mean, you have to think about it too. The Rangers are the team that likes to dish out that money as well too.
Mhm.
They
That's
love
the
to
only-
spend money.
Yeah, that's the only way they're going to build that team.
Right.
I mean, that's just what
but
they
does
have to
DeGrom
do.
want to go through a rebuild? I mean, does he want to? I mean, it's obviously up to him, but
Yeah,
that's why I didn't see Kershaw going to the Rangers. Is he
yeah.
gonna his last season? He's gonna be fighting for 80 wins, maybe.
Kershaw's built different, though. I mean,
Yeah.
he's Kershaw could easily get more than 20 million in that open market.
Right.
He's totally Tom Bradying this, and doing the lower contract.
The pay cuts.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. Yeah. So who else is out there? So we talked briefly about Swanson and Correa. Oh,
My man Bogarts.
yeah, Bogart.
Yeah.
That's my kind of.
So
But we'll see.
my question on Bogarts, let's say that he has 3 to 4 years left at shortstop. Is he a third baseman possibly?
I see it.
He's played third. He played third
Yeah.
as his rookie season.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, he came up as a third baseman, if I remember correctly. They moved him to short when they got rid of
Iglesias.
Yes, they had him at the time.
That's right. And then they put Devers over there later, but yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was
if
Steven Drew.
Yeah.
Steven Drew was the
yeah.
one. Yeah.
You're right, though.
I think if they do sign Bogarts, they only sign him to 3 to 4 years or 5, maybe tops. I see him with a higher average annual, but I don't think they're gonna sign a shortstop already in their 30s to a bigger contract than 3 to 4.
Yeah, unless they figure that they have that option to move him to third base. I don't think it's worth signing a guy and then move him to second. Second, I mean, let's be honest. Second base is, I think, a little easier to fill than third,
Right.
just because of the arm issue. And really, it's a different position. Second is
It's also
short.
your bat has to handle third base too.
Yeah, you got
Right.
yeah. You need that pop. You got to have some power there.
Yeah.
Well, even all these free agents that the Dodgers are linked into, I mean, you have to understand, like, they already said it. They're not going to go anything above 5 years to get any of these guys and spend so much money. They're trying to stay as short as they can in these AAVs, because you already know if Stan Kansas said they're going to use young talent, then they're not trying to keep them for that long. They're just going to let them walk whenever they can, or whenever they want, actually.
These are the guys that also said 24 hours before he got traded that they wouldn't dare trade an all-star second baseman named D. Gordon. So
Right.
I don't believe anything they say. I do think they might be tenderizing us just in case they want to go under.
Yeah.
We'll know pretty quick, because if you recall, the last time they reset after 2017, and we found that out when they made the Matt Kemp trade.
Yeah.
To get him back, which I was when my son and I were driving up to LA to go see Hamilton, and all of a sudden he goes, "Dad, the Dodgers just got Matt Kemp." I'm like, "What?" And then it's like Agon's traded and Brandon McCarthy and Kazmir, and oh my gosh, it was just The weirdest thing. So if they do something like that, then we'll know something's up. And I don't know who they would have that fits that, that type of profile. If they would, because the whole deal with that was trying to get rid of Agon. He
Right.
had a 2-year contract versus Kemp with the 1 year, and so they want things like that. And with McCarthy, all those guys,
I don't think we have someone currently on the roster that's just a killer contract that's weighing every. I mean, that was Bellinger at the time, to be honest, but he was non-tendered. But I do think they do reset just for the fact that I think when for any qualifying offers currently they only get a second or third round, right? They don't get a first round, right? Because
they're not
they're in
getting
the
anything. They get after the 4th round.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They
So
get
reset.
very
That's
little.
why I think they do reset. I mean, there's draft pick
Yeah.
consequences for them continually being over the luxury tax.
I'm gonna throw a name out there. People will kill me. Sorry, Tatiana. Chris Taylor.
Wait, who?
Chris
A
Taylor.
trade?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's 15 million.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really. I look at it. I love Chris Taylor. And I'm just throwing this out there, but where does he project? I like him as a utility guy. I don't like
Everywhere.
him.
Yeah, that's him.
I don't
Yeah.
like him starting anywhere. I think it's wasting his talent. I still think he plays 5 or 6 days a week. Just second base, shortstop, left field, center field, wherever he's needed.
I mean, at this
But-
point, he's just gonna give people their days off at this point.
Yeah, that's what I think.
But he can get a full season out of that just because he's everywhere on the dime except for catcher and a pitcher, I assume. Right?
First base.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
was
I'm sure he can
hurt,
if he wanted to.
and he
but
was
yeah.
hurt last year.
Yeah.
And he was bad. He had more strikeouts than Cody.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I think he led last year, right? He led last year of strikeouts, right?
It was brutal.
Or
It's like 300 at bats. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, and he shouldn't have been. Again, he's one of those guys like, Doc, why did you play him in the playoffs?
Right.
I mean, like, it's not all Doc. Let's be honest. Friedman.
I think
everybody.
it's management. Yeah.
Management sets the lineup, including Doc.
right.
Doc makes the moves during the game, but they do have a
Right.
plan. But
Right.
my Lord, you put a guy out there that was broken.
Yeah, that's the
I think
thing.
the
Though.
thing
Like
is-
you said,
yeah.
they're guys.
I
That's-
know,
that's-
right? It's my guys. Like, so one of the things I think that Doc and even Friedman forgets, their legacy is on the line.
Right.
Those guys have the potential to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Right now, they're not in. One championship ain't it.
Yeah.
I know Bobby Cox got in, but I think those times might be different, at least for Friedman, because Caston's not in yet. He should, I think he already should be what he's done. But those guys have a legacy, and it's like, and at the end of the day, I don't care who gets the hit. I just want someone to get the hit.
Someone to hit. Yeah, 100%.
Right? I mean, I think this year, last year's exit was like, oh, okay, I'm still kind of feeling good about 2020. This year, though, it hit a little bit different.
It was a huge letdown. Huge.
Yeah, this year was like way high expectations that we normally
100%.
thought.
Because I think last year, if they would have signed Correa, I probably would have just said I'm done for the year. I just wouldn't have come back. But this year, well, if we get
They're
Correa,
desperate, right?
I'll get over it.
I think us as fans, I mean, we saw the letdown at what happened this year. I think that's why now it's like, what are they going to do to rebuild a team from within, which is like not tear the whole team down apart, but now that we're noticing they got to build something from within that team.
Yeah.
I mean, we can have as many high expectations every year. Obviously, we can win 106 games, but if we just look like the Mariners, like in the early 2000s, I mean, we're just not going to go anywhere if we just keep winning 106 wins, but we keep getting let down in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, who cares, right? I mean, and also, and again, just Doug and I chatting, both Mookie and Freddie are in their prime.
Right.
Yep.
That ain't lasting forever. I'll give it
maybe
2 to 3 years, right?
Say 3-4. Yeah.
So
Muncy's in there.
Muncy too. And do we waste those primes on a year of rebuilding? But I
Well,
still
I don't think the
they're
Dodgers.
making
I think the
playoffs.
Dodgers will retool. I think it's just similar to 2019 to 20, where we have a fresh batch of prospects.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that happened. We had May.
Mm.
We had with Goslin. We had
Alex
Smith.
Verdugo. We had
Yeah, we had a wave. It just
Yeah, Matt
everyone's been
Beatty.
in the lower minors,
Yeah,
but now the
Matt
wave's
Beatty
coming
even was
through.
in there. So yeah,
I agree.
they had some guys, and man, I just yeah, but they have to do it right. You know, they Verdugo. It to me, it took them too long to play him all the time. But
Right.
when they did get Smith, because all they had was Barnes and Russ.
Russell Martin. Yeah.
And so Will came right in and just started
Right.
playing. With Seager, he came in and played every day. Bellinger played almost
Bellinger.
every day.
If you're good, you'll play. But I think they want to develop the talent. Same reason they didn't bring in Outman for the rest of the year, or maybe they didn't play Vargas. I think it's just our roster was that depleted where you're shuffling the lineup between Taylor striking out, and then you have Trace Thompson was good, but there's a lot of swinging missing this game.
A
Bellinger
lot.
didn't play out, so you can't rely on that. So
Yeah.
at the end of the year, it's just a lot of question marks and just injuries, to be honest.
Right.
Like
No,
every team, though, but
no, it's very true.
we didn't manage it.
Yeah. Took the zoom off or the share off. Yeah. So, with looking at that topic with the payroll, so we kind of covered a lot of things there in that one thing there. I'm trying to look for our agenda. Sorry, folks. Technical issues. Where is it? Here we go. So we kind of covered some free agents. We talked about, trying to we have 55 million, not 100 million, regretfully.
Right.
Unless they blow through it. I mean, if they were to go, let's, instead of 233, we're going up to 290 one more time. If the right guy comes along, they're always in.
Yeah.
I think that's the
Make a
one
trade. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I got to be honest. No way I ever thought that they would have traded for Manny Machado when they did in 2018.
Yeah.
No way I thought that they were going to trade for Mookie Betts. I couldn't believe that we got Mookie Betts. I still can't believe we have Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
We got him and Bruce Dar.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they went out and signed Bauer, and I can't believe they got Freddie Freeman. So who's next? That's
Yeah. You Darvish the year before,
or will they? Maybe they won't. I mean,
I think for high end talent, they see the value in it, and they rather get the high end talent and then trade from maybe the floor.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Or maybe there's a trade to come up. Who knows? I mean,
that's what I was thinking. Maybe there might be a trade coming in.
Yeah, I like the idea, and still, Doug was on this. Corbin Burns, or even Woodruff from Milwaukee. The Milwaukee's going to shed payroll somehow.
They have to, yeah, right.
And I would. There's certain starters that we've already talked about in the rotation that. Other than Julio and Clayton, maybe May, I'm willing if I can get 2 years at Corbin Burns.
Right.
It's adios to maybe and a prospect in there. He's not gonna be cheap. But then I still look at, gosh, man, they hardly got anything, in my opinion, for Hader. I mean.
They just traded closer for closer, actually.
Yeah, and there was a good prospect involved, but he was like their 7th ranked guy.
Yeah.
What? So are they willing to do that type of stuff? And where were we in that? To be honest with you, I mean
this year,
are we gonna get Hader? Maybe.
No, he's not a free agent. But it's out there, and I still, man, the one regret that's not me, but I really wish, knowing what we know now, is that the Dodgers would have went all in on Luis Castillo, because he signed a 5-year contract for $20 million per year. Holy smokes!
Right,
man, that wasn't.
Yeah,
hurt.
I mean that's very team friendly.
Right.
So, but
it would have hurt. I mean, prospect wise, it would have hurt. I would have probably dropped a couple of prospect hugger tears, but.
Yeah.
But do you think the Dodgers are gonna wait till after the Rule 5 draft to see who they're willing to trade? Because that's what if there is a big trade, if they are gonna go after Willie Adames and Corbin Burns, you think it'll happen right after the Rule 5 draft?
It can happen anytime. They have room. I mean, they still have. I think they have what, 5 spots,
Yeah.
Right.
something like that.
Does the Rule 5 draft have before the winter meetings or?
It's in the middle of it. So it's like on, winter meetings are like a Monday through Thursday-ish. Usually
Right.
people are gone by the end of Wednesday. But I think it's on the Monday or Tuesday. So it'll be right there. I don't think it's a factor for the Dodgers. They added, I'm going to pick on them. Sorry, Jake Reed, but I'm sure if they had a trade to make, they could release Jake Reed if they had to and sign him for the 4th time.
Right.
And some
Exactly,
of those
right.
things are actually, they say, hey, we're willing to bring you back. They have to be careful because of union things and tampering, but they go,
Yeah.
hey, Jake, we're going to release you, but boy, it'd be really nice to have you back, and
Yeah, exactly. Make yourself available, please.
yeah.
But I think Jake Reed is kind of like that filler. I mean,
Yeah. And there's always guys like that. I mean, and for the right price, we have I don't know. I mean, I know we all love Trace Thompson, but you know what? The right situation comes, I'm unloading that dude if I have a chance at getting a stud outfielder.
right.
Or
I mean, any team would kill to have him under control for another 4 years.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I think he's okay. I like him. He's a really good dude. My son had a really good interaction with him a few years ago. But he's got that control. I mean, he's not even ARB eligible. Well, he is ARB. He's for the first. He's got ARB eligible this year.
Right.
So they've got Trace for this 2020 through the end of 2025, and then he's a free agent.
So for like a mil and a half, maybe something like that.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
excuse me. Arbitration says one. They're guessing 1.7. Who knows, right?
Right.
That's
Still pretty inexpensive.
Oh
Right.
yeah, but at the end of the day, it's not going to stop us from getting a stud.
Right.
I mean, it's like it's going to be.
And the Dodgers
adios
like
to
top
certain
end
players.
talent. They're willing to dish out for
Yeah.
For the middle B level, maybe not, but for high end,
Yeah.
they will give up prospects. They will give up talent.
I think a good example of that is Frankie Montas.
Yeah.
There were people,
Right.
a lot of fans were like, let's get Frankie Montas. No, that's not the Dodgers guy. He's pretty darn good, but he's also broken a lot. And
I don't think he elevates what we already have on the staff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he wouldn't have helped. I mean, the Yankees didn't use him, did they? In the playoffs.
They used him for a bit, but then he ended up. Well, actually, no, in the playoffs, no. But then he got hurt.
He was bad.
Yeah,
he was. Yeah. Well, he had a thoracic arm surgery, and that's usually kind of a red flag. It's not too much people that come back from that. So
yeah, that's a hard one. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is too bad. But I'm glad the Dodgers didn't go get him.
Well, he was a Dodger, right? We did trade him for.
We did. Yeah.
We got him for Rich Hill.
For Rich Hill, right?
Yeah, Rich Hill.
Well,
Josh Reddick.
we got him in the Trace Thompson trade. We got him from the White Sox.
Oh, no, you're right. Actually,
yeah. Todd Frazier went to the White Sox. The Reds got Jose Pedraza.
And Puig.
And Schebler.
Oh, was that different?
Scott Schebler.
Yeah, Scott Schebler.
Did we trade him? We gave him Puig, right?
No, that was a different one.
Was it separate? Okay.
The Reds got those guys. The White Sox got Todd Frazier, and we got Trace, and we got Frankie Montas, and I can't remember who the other guy was.
Second baseman maybe.
Some good player. I mean, the best player in all that was Montas.
Yeah, he could deal, but he's not elevating he's not going to be better. We have that in May. We have that in Gosling. We already have high upside.
Yeah,
but have actually contributed already.
Yeah, I'd much rather have Dustin May than any Gonsolin than Montas.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah,
they've all proven themselves already.
The guy did have an 80 game suspension also for roids.
That doesn't help.
No, so
that does not.
Not surprised.
I'm surprised there's not more of them. But like Verlander. No, just kidding. Just no, just kidding. I'm lying. I'm just kidding. Don't come after me. Um, let's see. So, are there any other topics you guys want to cover? We got a few minutes left. About 6 minutes.
I think we covered most. I think the only thing is now is maybe potential trade targets.
Yeah.
Because we do have a lot of depth. Starting pitching depth, I think at some point we are gonna have to start. We have we have Miller, Stone, and Payroll in AAA,
And Grove.
and Grove.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
we have Knack in double. Like, at some point,
I
that's
know.
a whole nother starting rotation, including the forward we have and so at some point I think there has to be some kind of trade, but
It's almost only fair. It's
yeah,
like,
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe some possible trade targets. Sandy
Yeah.
Alcantara would be nice, but I don't know who's available.
Yeah. They're probably gonna end up locking him up soon, anyways.
Right.
yeah, you wonder about some of those guys. They get that big money contract offer and they just go for it. And it's like, man, if you just were a little patient, first of all, does he really want to play in Miami? Where they're gonna
Probably not.
they're gonna keep losing. We never
Yeah.
know though. But then you look at like Acuna and what's the second baseman? Albies. Those guys got
Ozzy
ripped off.
Albies.
They got ripped off by the Braves.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, it's criminal.
Was
Yeah.
it the 10 million, 100, 10 years, 100 million?
Yeah, those contracts should have been voided. I got to be honest with you. Those are terrible. Absolutely awful.
It's hard when you don't have you don't have that money and then they
I
just
know.
give it to you. So it's hard to say, but yeah,
Yeah.
those are some pretty friendly contracts.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially to them, because they
Yeah.
never seen that
100%.
kind of money.
100%.
I know those are really good
Albies
ball
is-
players.
Albies is what he got 5 years, 35 million or something.
It was a
It's
Yeah.
really
better-
ridiculous.
Yeah, he's really good. I mean, and
Yeah,
of course Acuna is so we know how good he is. Yeah, I mean, my
He was-
gosh.
Used to call him Puig Part 2.
Yeah. He still does knuckleheaded things too,
Yeah.
man. In the play, it's whether it's not running out a single that he thought was a home run or whatever.
Right.
Keeps doing that stuff, and yeah, I don't know. I wish he would stop doing that. I think.
Talent's obviously there.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah. And he's not idiotic like Puig. I mean, let's be honest. Puig is not.
Yeah.
Dude. I mean, hopefully, he's got, what, 3 settled sexual assault things, and we just found out about what
The
just
gambling.
happened. Yeah, the gambling.
gambling.
Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, SEL.
And he's not even in the States anymore.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean, I guess he's a citizen, so he'll be able to come back. But if he wasn't a citizen, they wouldn't have to let him back in even.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, he's
Bad decisions.
he's gonna be broke. I mean, regretfully, he's gonna be one of those guys that's gonna be broke, and it's too bad. I mean, who didn't think that Yasiel Puig was gonna be a top 5 player, during his career?
Yeah, it seems like we had
Yeah,
we
so-
found a gem. Like, it was.
His first month, he just tore it up with the Dodgers, and then after that,
Yeah.
it was just like not even downhill. But
His second
it
year
got
was
to his
good.
head.
He was pretty good. Second year,
was
he was
good, yeah.
he was good, but it just went down. That was like his peak.
Yeah,
That
and
was
And
peak.
well, we thought 2017, and when they made it to the World Series, he bounced back really good. But then it was just worse from there.
well, and also, I mean, I'll never forgive him for not listening to the fielding coaches in the 8th inning of Game 2 when he was in right center and Bregman hit the ball where they expected him to hit it down the right field line, and he missed it by inches. He was mispositioned
Tipped off his
because
glove.
he
That's
wasn't
it. Yeah,
listening to
he
coaches.
wasn't coach. I
Terrible.
mean, yeah,
It was terrible. That cost the game. They could have won that series without, even with the cheating going on.
right.
But it's I wish the best for the guy. I know it sounds like he's trying to get his act together.
Right.
So you only wish the best, but Puig, I don't know how we got him Puig. All right. Well, I think we're good for this one. It's probably a little shorter because I am feeling I think my color looks different. Like, oh.
Yeah, he's not feeling well.
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered most. Like, the first one was just a mass cover of different topics. This one,
Yep. And then we
The
should
more
be
the
able to-
free agency progresses, I assume there's gonna be more topics to be
Abs-
talked about.
Oh, we're gonna see so
Yeah.
many rumors, and so we'll hit those rumors next time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's all going to happen within the next 2 days, right before Thanksgiving, and then right after Black Friday. That's when it's going to go down from there for sure.
For
Yeah.
sure. Or the
Oh.
winter meetings coming up. Usually there's a ton of
Yeah,
ton
And
of
you know,
transactions.
some guys they do want to get done early. I've heard Judge wants to get done by the winter meetings. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
I hate it when these free agents leave it out until spring training.
Oh, that was the worst. I think it was at
Bryce Harper.
2020.
Machado and Harper.
yeah, Bryce Harper and
That
Manny
was the
Machado.
worst.
Gosh.
Free
All
agent
right.
period.
I'm gonna
sure.
wrap it up, guys. All right, thanks everybody for listening. Thank you, Alex and Trinidad. It was a heck of another good time, and we will do it again soon.
All right, you guys.
And we
All right,
are
later, guys.
gone.
Take care, man.
All right, later, guys.
All right, see you guys. Adios.